Hello, folks. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 75.5. Because, well, we had an issue where we started talking about this. It's something like the political compass test, but instead it's the 8 core values test. And we were going to take it on air. It's a weird sort of test, and I have some questions about it. But whoever was going to join was going to join. So let's see how this thing goes. I've invited a lot of people out to it. Let's see who actually joins for the cast and wants to listen to it. And also, I'm trying to someone please a lot of people out to it. Let's see who shit. I'm trying to also monitor questions in the YouTube chat. But anyway, how's everybody doing tonight?
I'm feeling great. Happy Fantastic Friday. And if you're into Starbucks, happy Frat Friday. Hope everybody's enjoying this wonderful, nice summer weather. I know I am. Boom.
Tell us how you really feel, Charles.
What? How I really feel is nice and sunny. It's beautiful.
It is tough to tell that you are excited and happy today.
What?
I love Charles. He's always happy, but D-Gad, if I worked for him on a day-to-day basis, his constant enthusiasm.
Oh my God! Yeah, trust me, I get it on a daily basis.
Eventually, that would grate on me. I'm sure.
It does. But you know what? You know what I do? I'm very considerate of others. Like I kind of wait till they talk to me, or if they're in that mode, you know, because I know everybody. I know the world ain't all clouds with sunglasses. So I try to be considerate of other people's emotions and feelings. And if they're feeling some kind of way, then I'm like, oh, okay, you know, if you want to chat, I'm here. You know, if you don't, then that's fine too. But you know, let's just coexist and enjoy the best way you know how.
That's right.
That's how I do.
And nobody slash his tires because he's so nice.
Thank you. Please
don't even think that ever.
Please don't slash my tires. I need my tires so I can go home.
Right. We got my second favorite comedy in the stream.
Uh-oh. Hi.
Hi, Comedy Evie.
Evie.
Hi, hello.
How it goes?
Well, I ended up in Twitter jail today on both accounts.
What?
Yeah.
No, Twitter jail.
Yeah, someone reported me and I have a 12-hour suspension.
For what? Reported you for what? What'd you do? Or didn't do?
I know exactly which tweet did it, but the thing is, the way I worded it was in no way a threat, but they just spammed the button and brigaded me, and now I'm in Twitter jail for 8 hours.
It was the one about the little people, wasn't it?
No.
I think we got an irregular in here who I'm more than welcome. Hey, Moo Pronto. Is that Moo? Hey, say hello, Moo.
Hey, Moo, what's up?
Hey, Moo.
Moo, he's talking. He said, hey, guy, yeah, it is. Hey.
I'm pretty sure it's a she, because I've encountered Moo on Facebook before, so how you doing?
Moo, if you're trying to talk, you're muted right now.
Yeah, never mind. Got the hell out of work. Got out of hell at work. Okay.
Anyway, welcome, Moo.
Yeah, he's not on the phone. Well, just welcome, Moo. Enjoy. Let's have some fun and happy Friday.
Yes, we're gonna go over this political. It's not all right. You're all familiar with this political compass test. What does the left, right, authoritarian, libertarian thing? And I'm usually. I always consider myself a right-leaning libertarian, and the political compass chart generally puts me there as well. But this 8 values thing makes me out as a neoliberal, which the description I read on Wikipedia, maybe that's not inaccurate, but how the term neoliberal is used by people like Styx Hexenhammer, who's a YouTube commentator, I don't think I'm a neoliberal because I'm not really a corporatist shill. I don't know. So we're going to go through this list and see if we like it or don't like it. So everybody got the URL. It's in the URL that I posted. But does anybody not have the the URL to this particular test?
If you, I can get to it real quick.
I'll post it in the chat.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did it on Wednesday, but just exit out once I was done. So,
Out of curiosity, what did you come up with?
mine came out as conservative, which isn't too far off.
See, I figured right-leaning libertarian for myself, but I don't know what categories they have. But for whatever reason, when I took the test, I came out as neoliberal. I'm like, that seems weird. Then again, I get arguments from people online all the time who call me a fucking fascist, call me alt-right, call me all sorts of shit. I'm like, alt-right, fascist. So how many Jewish women do I have to say that I really am sexually attracted to before people will stop calling me these things?
I think you may have to marry one and then live like
with the right Jewish
40.
Yes, I'm down with that. Yes, Jewish girls.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You have to prove yourself before the label can change, because it's not because you've done anything, just because of who you are.
I'm also into Filipino girls, so if your wife has any sisters who get off, let me know.
I'll let you know.
They probably do. She probably does, and they practice tucking methods.
I gotta admit, there's some really cute Filipino men out there also, but I'm just saying. Anyway, let's start with the test, since that's the whole point of this thing, and hopefully Moo gets her audio fixed and joins us.
Go Moo, go Moo, go Moo, go Moo, go.
So here is the political 8 values test. It's not the political compass test. It's the 8 values test. And all right, the first thing you gotta look at is they have these different dichotomies between this and that. Equality versus markets. The last time I took this test, I was very much in favor of markets. Nation versus world. That's the dichotomy between what's in it for me, what's in it for my particular group versus the outside world. Liberty versus authority, which, strangely enough, I came out way more centrist on this than I thought. I thought I would be way more liberty. Here's the thing. There's various things I think that, how do you put it this way? I think everybody should have the right to do what they want, but it's not always a good idea. But I still think you have the right to make the bad decision yourself. And I think some of the questions may feel strange that way. Tradition versus progress. This is the one I think that really screwed me up on this test, because there's some traditional value views you can have that I don't think impair further progress. So I think this is the part that really screwed me up, because what is considered progress? Because if you talk to like a neo-Nazi, a progress is an entirely different thing than if you talk to someone who is a modern-day Western European libertarian. The term progress really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot, unless you get to the nitty-gritty of what that particular person thinks progress means. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But I figure we'll take this test together and see what happens. Ooh, Illustrious Nightshade has joined. Anyway, everybody speak up whenever you want to. And I'm going to go ahead and click here to start. And I'm assuming they're going to give us the same questions at the same time. So everybody who is ready, let's go ahead and start this test. Everybody ready?
Right now, I'm leading. I'm on question 2.
Motherfucker. Always skipping ahead. You will be presented with a series of statements for each one. Click the button with your opinion on it. Okay, got it. Are you giving the questions in the same order or not?
It seems like it.
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, Evie.
Tight.
I throw you from helicopter second because no first, and then Jack next because I like Jack better than you. No offense. I like you, Evie, but Jack is pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
and he needs a soft place to land.
And he doesn't think that Jack would steal a tank.
It wasn't. It was not a tank. It was a armored personnel carrier.
Yeah. All right, we're splitting details. All right, let's go on with the test. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. See, governments actually have complete totalitarian control of the particular domain they're in. Corporations do not. However, all corporations like Google or Facebook, who are so huge, this is a hard one for me to go with. I would partly go with oppression by corporations. I disagree because I think government can have more control. But damn it, I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm a little concerned about corporations as well. So, how would you all answer that?
From my perspective, I would have to say disagree. I wouldn't go too strongly disagree, since I think there is a element of the individual corporations, but I would disagree and go with government.
Yeah, I disagreed as well, but I can't go strongly disagree because I'm also worried about corporations having too much control. So
yeah,
I would just disagree because I'm more worried about government than corporations, but I'm worried about corporations too. So I don't know how to, Any other comments on that?
I clicked agree on it because I was looking at it from the aspect of net neutrality and how pretty much now at any time my two ISPs can say, well, you stream on Twitch too much, you play too many video games, so you have to pay extra for the ability to do that.
But in the same sense, if you look at it from a larger perspective, who can also put the laws that influence net neutrality in place or not put them in place?
And you're trying to tell me that those original governments didn't bribe those legislators by here's
I'm sure the corporations, yeah.
Here's what the tie comes up is because corporations and government are so intertwined at this point that to ask the question, are you more worried about corporations or government? It's asking, are you more afraid of, well, it's still one single unit. How do I put, oh crap. I'm trying to figure out, it's almost like asking you're still afraid of the same thing because corporations and governments are so intertwined at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the joke about the U.S. Treasury that it's government sacks, not
Yeah, any which way anybody votes on that one, I can't hold it against them because it's a big confusing fucking mess.
Yep.
All right. Question number 2: is it necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers? See, I can understand a pure free market economic reasoning that you don't need the government to interfere because eventually certain really bad actors in the market will eventually get kicked out. Like if you constantly are selling rotten meat that makes people sick, people won't buy it. At the same time, I kind of like the FDA being there. You know what I'm saying? Like the FDA exists because, what is it? That book from the early 20th century called The Jungle, which talked about, I think, meat processing and so forth. So I'm okay with the government being there. I can understand there's a way we can get around it, but I'm okay with the government also looking into things and making sure things are okay. So it's not particularly onerous on me. So I generally go with agree on this.
Yeah, but using the FDA as an example, they also are influenced by farmers and whatnot. They're saying coconut oil isn't good for you, but fructose corn syrup and the corn growers of America, that's perfectly fine, and they're cool with partially hydrogenated everything. And just
my understanding is we would have a lot more cane sugar in foods if it wasn't for the fact that we subsidize corn.
Yes.
Well, I think about it from the classical sense of when the in the early 20th century when they when Theodore Roosevelt intervened to bust all those trusts, the sugar trust, the oil trusts.
Yeah.
Because they had so much of a control over the market that he had to break that up.
Yeah. True.
Okay, next question up. And I'm assuming everybody's still getting these in the same order?
Yes.
Cool. The freer the market, the freer the people. And I will generally agree because, and that's one of my big problems with some of the things maybe Trump may be coming up with tariffs. I don't know. I like being able to get cheap shit from China if I want to.
But it's going to take 4 weeks for you to get it.
And generally that's okay. I can accept that. I will generally go with agree on the free of the markets, the free of the people. But do y'all have any major dissension on that?
Nope.
It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. And see, here's the thing. I don't understand exactly how, on a global economic scale, if your country goes into massive economic debt, how that affects you. I know as a personal level, I try never to have debt at all. So my instant inclination is to quick agree not to go ever into any kind of debt. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this question number 4?
I'm on the agree to strongly agree side.
Yeah, same here.
I'm the same. I mean, I would much rather this country go broke trying to feed people than to feed corporations and their greed.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the social side of me speaking.
All right. Well, choose whatever you want on your screen, and then we'll share screens at the end. See what comes up. Me, I'm gonna say I don't want to go into debt, but I truly do not understand and granted, I've had too much bourbon already. On an economic level, what happens when a country goes into debt? And my sense, the U.S. is in certain advantages because our currency is still considered more stable than other people's currencies. But when we become, and my understanding, we are a debtor nation.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means China's our daddy.
But on the upside of that, China might be our daddy, but our currency is locked with the price of oil. So we can go broke. We can send out the checks, and we never have to worry about the dollars coming back home because people are always going to have to use our currency to buy oil.
And that's
currently, yeah.
Adds to my confusion. But anyway, we'll go to the next question. I'll say agree on this.
Well, I have one question. You talk about living without debt, but how is that possible?
I currently have no debt. Who's speaking?
Right. I mean, in general, though, we live in a society where people have very little choice to go into debt. You're not going to buy a house without going into debt. You're not going to buy a car without going into debt, for the most part. Yes, you can save your dollar bills and buy a $500 junker. But if you're going to buy something new house, new car, new something, our society is geared towards putting people into debt.
That is true to a point, and I did go into debt when I bought my house, but I paid off my house in 2011.
Right, and I mean, I paid off my car 5 years ago, so I'm with you. The thing is that just about everything right now requires people to go into some form of debt or another, which breeds parasitic lending, which breeds indentured debt, where people are working just to pay off the interest on their debts. And a lot of companies, if we all made the conscious choice to live without debt, would fold. They wouldn't exist because they live on, I mean, it sounds predatory because it is. Look at the big three. Where would the big three be if there was no debt?
Gone?
Oh, the credit unions? I mean, credit bureaus?
Yeah, Equifax, TransUnion. Where would they be if there was no debt?
Yeah, there'd be no point.
How would we afford our $20,000 worth of crap we buy every December 24th if it wasn't for credit?
Well, that's the thing.
It's baked into our society. Now, yes, there are people who are, let's say, mentally liberated or well educated in the fact that you just don't do that. You don't buy something if you can't afford it, and yet they live in some kind of abject poverty with some social stigma for their entire lives because they never had this, they never had that, because they never had credit. So it's hard to imagine a debt-free society when society purposefully points you both through socioeconomic pressure, through peer pressure, to go into debt.
Yeah, society pushes you into it. I will admit that our society is definitely pulling towards people, pushing people into let's go to debt and that's okay mentality.
I mean, hell, we send more pre-approved credit cards to college students that we know damn well will never be able to pay them back.
That's how I got mine back in like what 1997 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had when I was going to college, they would have booths set up in like the breezeway and the student union basically handing them out.
Yep.
Like a 3-question questionnaire. And they already know that a lot of the students that they were targeting also probably had student loans.
Buying and selling debt is an industry all in and of itself.
Okay, let's go to the next question in the list. Like I thought this would be a good stream to do, just because this test makes you ask a lot of questions of yourself.
Yep.
It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. And see, the thing is, I can't apply this to an external world. I can only apply it to my own internal finances. I would go agree, because I can only take the microeconomic to the macroeconomic. But there's a certain point where people have to look after themselves. So I go agree.
Well, welfare reform has been on the lips of everyone for the last 20, 25 years. So I think you would have to see welfare reform before you could face this kind of question.
Can anybody hear me? Hello.
Who's speaking? That move?
Yeah, it was. It was me. I'm just trying to figure out the app. Sorry.
It's all good. Okay. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the public than leaving it to the market. I don't know. I think the market may focus research on the correct things. Things that are actually of interest to people. Like I see financing going towards I don't know. I've seen some publicly funded research that just seems asinine as to things that we already know. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna go with unsure, because I think even companies or private I don't know on this.
Well, you know, there's two benefits to this, two major benefits to this. Publicly funded research would help eliminate graft. It would help eliminate, we'll fund your research so long as your research comes out with a conclusion that matches what we want it to say. That goes out the window with public funded research. And also, public funded research reverses the privatizing profit, publicizing risk. So if as an individual person, I can go out there and invest my $100 a week that I take out of my paycheck into, say, cancer research, and I get a dividend when they finally get the cure, well, that's all the much better for me and all the much better for the public as a whole. Look what happened with war bonds. I mean, a lot of people had a really great lifestyle after World War II simply from war bonds. So I see this as something similar to that. what you can do is you publicize the investment in research. It would cut down on garbage research. It would cut down on graft, and it would be beneficial to the population as a whole when that money comes rolling in, instead of keeping that money in a little closed bubble.
I see this question a little bit differently. We already have publicly funded research through the National Science Foundation, NASA, and a number of, there's a NIH, there's a whole bunch of federal organizations that fund scientific research. And having been inside that world, I was a research physicist for a while in an astrophysics department and at NASA. There's a powerful incentive once somebody gets a grant to just keep doing the minimum to keep it going. I saw a lot of scientists who were publicly funded. All I'm saying is that public funding does not guarantee no garbage results, no publish or perish. Having an open source body of scientific knowledge is a good thing for society. That's a good incentive for publicly funded research. I would personally like to see something somewhat, you kind of were going in that direction and we wandered off, but I'd like to see something kind of similar to the war bonds, that if people think the space program is something with funding, they can buy a space program bond, they can buy a NASA bond. Or if they want to have the cure for cancer, they can buy a bond on that, so that the public as a whole can have more say over how these research dollars are allocated.
And at the same time, more benefit.
But some of the negative externalities you're talking about aren't mitigated by public research or publicly funded research. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, on this one, I'm going to go with neutral this time around. I'm not sure, because I think either type of research is probably going to be good. I don't trust the having been in the university for 15 years, I see a lot of waste, but I don't know what to say. International trade is beneficial. Well, fuck yeah. Some nations are better at developing certain things than others, and if you can do what's best for your nation, what your nation is best at, and trade with other people, yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't say strongly agree. I'm not exactly a protectionist. I'm pretty much free trade, so I'll say strongly agrees. Anybody have a different opinion on this? I don't think that one caused a whole lot of controversy. From each according to his own ability, each according to his needs. I just strongly disagree because I automatically know it's from the Communist Manifesto, is it not?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it sounds like really biblical. Not really my thing, so I disagreed with this.
What was that? You said that?
That was me, Moo.
Okay. So I think Comrade Evie might agree because, she's a comrade, and I've already said I flew her from the helicopter second.
We shall see if Eevees land on their feet like cats.
What was the quote again? From each to what?
From each according to his ability, according to his needs.
Isn't that from the Communist Manifesto or something like that?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's only, I don't know. It hasn't worked out well.
But that's the thing is, I'm saying strongly disagree, not because of the words used, but just because I know where it comes from, which may not be the valid thing to do. But I myself am going to hit strongly disagree, probably. Just because of knee-jerk reaction, and I know what communism has done in various countries over the 20th century. So,
well, yeah, you have to understand that people deviate from the intention. I mean, look at capitalism. Capitalism was not meant to be the way it is right now, and we've deviated from a lot of the ideals. So it's you got to take these things with a grain of salt. It's like, yes, we believe in this. Now we're going to go do something else that's kind of like that, but not quite.
I'm just going to go strongly disagree on this one for the time being, and we'll go to the next one. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. And while I want to slightly agree with this, because I think that maybe private charity might be more efficient, I don't know if I totally want to get rid of any kind of social welfare net. Y'all discuss this for a bit. I'm going to go get me some more beverage.
I was going to say Florida actually did privatize out most of their social programs, and it's not working out very well for us.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that just lead to more graft?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the United Way is a great example. I've worked for jobs where they pretty much put a gun to your head and say, yes, you are going to contribute to the United Way. And when you point out that, like, 10 cents out of every dollar actually goes to the programs, the rest goes into salaries, they tend to tell you to shut up or quit your job.
Yeah. Except with us, it's at a statewide level of, like, if you get an EBT card for, Medicare or food stamps here, you turn the card over on the back, and it's a JP Morgan branded card.
Guys, I'm out of the room.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nevada's not too different with their unemployment system.
Yeah, and I disagree with that because it should be either cut. Like these are important things, and I don't feel that these corporations have the best interest for any of us in mind, and they just want to go for the bottom dollar.
The flip side of that is these corporations are better equipped to provide the service in a more expedient and efficient way than the local governments are. I mean, in Nevada, you can get laid off and you can get your benefits turned on to an ATM card within 24 hours. Versus used to be, weeks upon weeks upon weeks of going to meetings and filling out forms. And at the same time, we can't run a DMV worth a damn.
Oh, I don't think any state can run a DMV.
Well, I used to say that until I went to California. California's DMV tends to have their shit wired pretty tight.
Oh, wow.
I was really impressed. I was in and out of a DMV with handicap plates in less than 45 minutes.
Yeah, if I try to do something like that, I have to, pick a DMV not in, the populated parts of Palm Beach County.
You got to drive out to BFE and go to the DMV out there. I did that in New Jersey.
It's I got to drive an hour to go to the DMV. What? Yep. And I'm like, I drive an hour or I wait 6 hours.
Yep. They've even gotten crazier out here. You don't even go to the DMV anymore. You make an appointment and with your cell phone, and they will call your cell phone and tell you when your appointment's within a 2-hour window, and then you drive to the DMV.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
And then you get there, and it's hire the mentally handicapped day.
You guys just need to move out to the country. I walk into here it's called the BMV. In Indiana it was the DMV, but here you walk into the BMV, and about 5 minutes later you walk out.
All right, next question on the list is, it would be best if social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. Oh, that's what we just covered. Sorry. I will go agree on mine, but question. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. But since I'm rich, I'll say disagree with that. Y'all can give your opinion. Should taxes be increased on the rich to provide for the poor?
I agree simply because I was brought up on food stamps and WIC and all that good shit, and now that I have money, I understand why my taxes must go up, because to bring up the next generation.
Well, I mean, you can only tax somebody to a certain point where there's no more money left to tax.
Gentlemen,
try telling the government that.
Oh, I know.
You got some ill will in the channel. What's up, ill?
What up?
Oh,
hey,
Will.
You ever look at an unemployment check and see taxes taken out of it?
Wait.
Yeah, what's up?
It will, dude. I'm sorry the shit that Hope's giving you.
Dude, that shit Hope's giving you, fuck that shit.
Anyway, sorry, man, but yeah, welcome to the cast, and we'll continue on with the questions and see what comes up. I keep unsharing my screen. By the way, someone needs to probably get a microphone on because I hear a lot of background noise.
I don't know who it is.
All right, inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Since I got a lot of money from my uncle, I will strongly agree. I certainly don't like the whole concept of. I see someone like the Guardian saying, "Give it all to the government." No, fuck you. If my ancestors made good decisions and they wanted to pass those good decisions on to me, that should be their ability. And I would say I will say strongly that inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth, but that's probably not to be, hypocritical. And I'm trying to watch this to see who the hell is making all that fucking noise in the background.
Looks like it's illustrious.
Nightshade.
Somebody call my name?
Yeah, we think you got some background noise going on.
Oh, hang on. You know what? I'm going to hang up and call back later.
Okay.
We love you.
We love you, buddy, in the most homo way possible.
Oh, had to do that.
The mitten.
Owie.
Hey.
Go to your corner.
What do you all think about inheritance? That was the last question I answered.
I don't know. I guess from the flip side, what would it be if it was not a form of wealth? I mean, if the inheritance is like $1,000, that's not wealth. So you would have to judge by the dollar amount, you know. But I'm not really sure. I would say inheritance is a form of wealth.
Or legitimate form of wealth. Is that legitimate or not legitimate? And how do this put this way?
Are we talking like Paris Hilton wealth or what?
Let's put it this way. I'm certainly glad my uncle left me some money. It makes my life easier and makes my future retirement easier because unfortunately, uncle, he had pancreatic cancer. It spread to his liver and other places. He died at like 68 and didn't get to use all of his retirement.
Yeah.
And now it's part of my retirement, and it makes my life potentially easier. So I'm still trying to figure out things for myself.
I mean, stay in shape so you can use it.
Yeah, if I could do my current progress, I'd probably die before my uncle did. Shit. But
Adrian, know that we love you.
I love you too, Wowie.
The love is strong.
I need a Finbot. Anyway.
But yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of governments. I've seen people exert the idea that all inheritance is bullshit. It should all go to the government and welfare after someone dies. I'm like, no, fuck you.
No, fuck no.
Your parents, your uncles, your whatever made good decisions, and they want to leave that money to you. Fuck it, that money should go to you.
Yep.
But should it all go to you? I think it comes down to inheritance tax, probably.
But inheritance tax isn't a thing in Indiana, my understanding. Is it in Kentucky? I don't remember. I don't know.
Yes.
It might be a local versus federal thing.
Yeah, and I think they got rid of the federal inheritance tax.
Yeah, like in Indiana, well, if you have a trust, if, you know, like my grandfather has a trust and he passes away, and then my dad inherits the trust, he doesn't have to pay any tax on that until he removes money from that trust. Now, if it's cash, or say it's investments, not in a trust, then there's no money paid on the balance at the time of his passing. Now, if there's any interest gained after his passing up until tax time, you have to pay tax on that interest that was made, at least in Indiana. So, because my grandfather passed away and we just went through all that.
Okay, big confusing issue. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. And I have to go agree. I know I have some ANCAP people who are friends of mine who have all these weird ideas about how you can do how do I put it this way? The anarcho-capitalists, I think, are less insane than the anarcho-communists. Because the anarcho-communists, you think somehow you can redistribute the wealth out of state, are fucking insane. The anarcho-capitalists, I think they're just too idealistic. But I will say that public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. I think that's pretty commonsensical. I'm a minarchist. I'm for minimal government if possible, but I can't go with the ANCAP thing about everything can be private. I don't know if everything can be private.
What, you don't want the shitty cyberpunk future where Domino's is filling in potholes in your town?
Hey, I kind of think that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's
like,
it's advertising though.
Aren't they publicly owned already? I mean, we pay our taxes into a malfunctioning local government that pretends to take care of them, and therefore they crumble. That still means that technically we own them.
And in the same sense,
I think we just need to be a little more assertive as people about how that money is being spent. We've got to, instead of just sitting there with your genitalia in your hand saying you can't fight City Hall, you need to go down to City Hall and take a dump on somebody's desk until it gets taken care of.
Have you seen the size of my dumps?
Exactly. You haven't seen the size of mine. But I mean, that's the thing. We have a huge, huge problem with police corruption here in Vegas. Okay? And everyone's been just beating their heads into the ground about it. And then one lawyer started standing up and he won one case and another case and another case and another case. Now the police are afraid of him.
Huh.
And I think that it's incredibly possible to just go in there and say, hey, why is there a 4-foot pothole out there? It's your responsibility to do with this. And then you start looking at it and you follow the money and you see $50 million went to fixing the streets and $40 million of it went into somebody's pocket and $10 million went into buying one new piece of equipment and nothing happened. And then you got to start saying, where is the fiscal responsibility in my local town?
That's literally the problem with every road in Miami.
There's a road a quarter of a mile from where I live. Every time it floods, every time it rains, it floods to the point where you can take a canoe across this underpass.
Michigan are the worst fucking roads I think I've driven in on the United States.
And it's not like the tax money's not there, because God knows I see the word tax every time I do anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's a matter of, again, graft and corruption and standing up there and going, hey, guys, you mind thinking not so much into lining your pockets and to maybe fixing the damn roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have any disagreement. Is people do not spend money what it should be if it is allocated as such. Next question.
I was about to say, some city governments just have a tendency to rob Peter to pay Paul. So they'll borrow funds that are coming in from one place and then distribute it to somewhere else.
They also have a bad habit of hiding what they do with the money and saying, well, you can't have access to that document. And then you turn around and you go, excuse me? This is me. I'm a taxpayer. That's my money. What do you mean I can't see what happens with it?
Yeah.
And they still manage to get away with it because not enough people stand up and say, whoa, wait a minute.
True that.
Okay. Next question, because we obviously can't solve the problem of governments not necessarily giving transparency to the voters in this particular chat. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy. I will go with agree, not necessarily strongly agree, but I think there might be some places where the government puts up noses in where they don't belong. Those who have great ability to pay should receive better health care. Well, you know what? If you have the money to get better health care, like all of a sudden, if I decide, you know what, my boobs aren't big enough, I want bigger boobs, I should be able to pay for that if I had the money. So I'll say strongly agree. Anybody disagree? Does anybody else?
You know, I have a very unpopular opinion on this.
You don't think I should have bigger boobs if I want bigger boobs?
I think healthcare should be a human right and not anything you can afford.
Well, here's
I think profiteering off of illness is morally wrong.
Whereas I agree that healthcare should be a basic human right. So let's just say, like, for example, me being here in Kentucky.
Sorry, say it again.
Like, for example, me being here in Kentucky, and there's an innovative surgery, say in Oregon, and I have the ability to travel to Oregon and pay for this procedure, to have this procedure done that saves my life. I should have the ability to do that.
Absolutely. You should have the ability to have it anyway, period. Okay? I mean the thing is, when I say human right, I mean that medical care should not be delineated by how much money is in your pocket. You get a Band-Aid or you get radiation therapy. It's determined on whether or not how much money you have in your pocket. I think that's morally wrong.
Well, but in the same sense, you have the research that goes into those different types of treatments and whatnot.
Right.
And without having money coming in to eventually pay for it, you will have that research die out.
The thing is, you can get the money for that. I'm not saying not to make money off of it. I'm saying profiteering. Okay,
Yeah,
$25 bags of saline water that costs $1 to make, and the hospital charges $50 for them. They pay $25. The ledger, you've heard about the ledgers that the hospitals keep. How much they pay for something, how much they charge for it.
Yeah,
literal profiteering off of that I think is morally wrong. I don't want anyone to start sitting there to start singing the praises of free money, but if I go into a hospital with first stage cancer, and the guy next to me goes into the hospital with first stage cancer, and one of us has insurance and one of us doesn't, so one of us lives and one of us dies, that's wrong. I mean, morally, that's wrong. We need to rethink healthcare to a point where it's not a profit center, number one. Yes, there has to be money involved, but that's investment money. We'll invest in cures, and we can sell our patents to other people and blah, 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 blah. But it should be not something you have to worry about. You shouldn't lose your house if you get sick. You shouldn't lose your car if you get sick. You shouldn't have to move into a homeless shelter if you get sick. You shouldn't lose your job if you get sick. We have so many people right now that have normal, stable lives, and then someone has an accident or they get sick, and the next thing you know, they're living in a trailer park.
Yeah, I see. This is one of the things that our healthcare system in the United States is kind of fucked up because it's not truly free market. And it's far from
it's full of profiteering.
Yeah, someone might need to change that because if it was truly free market, I think it might be better. But at the same time, we might be better with a nationalized system. I don't know. However, the American left, if it was about our healthcare system, I'd be cooler with it than what I am with it currently.
My personal opinion has always been
we could divert a small portion of our Let's Go Blow Up People Halfway Around the Globe fund. You know, just 1 billion or 1 trillion out of the 19 trillion we're spending, and give everyone basic health insurance.
I was going to say my take on this, which is fairly pragmatic, is I want single payer, but with an option to buy private insurance.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be private doctors.
Well, I look at it like like buying a car. You have your basic A to B transportation. Now, if you want automatic windows, a sunroof, that's what that private insurance will be for.
But how does that compare? How does customization on a car compared to like what? So you get penicillin or aspirin for your infection, depending on whether or not you have insurance.
And then add in mental illness as well. Is that a luxury item or is that necessary? Because I argue wholeheartedly, and I will go to bat against anyone who tries to tell me that it isn't part of basic human health care.
We have plenty of shitting incidents to show that we need mental health help.
I see a shrink, and I have to pay for it out of pocket in cash because I don't want my employer to be able to go through my insurance company and figure out what the fuck's going on with me.
Yeah, that's another great argument about mental illness. They want you to get help, but if you get help, you screw your life. Hello?
Yeah, I'm a little reluctant to admit to some people about my mental issues because how we use this to fuck me over.
We are all fundamentally insane because we're kept that way.
Yeah.
Well, let's be very real about this. InfoSec doesn't exactly lend itself to sanity.
Life doesn't lend itself to sanity. You're talking about InfoSec. We got people who blow each other away with shotguns over a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
Hey, that hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah, what, a week?
All right, we got to get this thing going. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the next question. See, this question test is like very good for a rhetoric back and forth. Quality education is a right of all people. Right? Education, I mean, people should be able to get education, but educations can be free. I'm going to go neutral unsure on this. Because I don't think people should necessarily get a free ride in college. Because some people would choose useless college courses.
Well, that depends on how you define useless.
I think it depends on what the college course is.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? I was in a relationship with a woman who was going for a PhD in Russian literature, and to this day, she still can't get a job. So I understand what you're talking about.
I had some guy on Twitter give me shit because I said that a women's studies professor was a social parasite because she was whining because some guy on an elevator joked about, give me stop at the women's lingerie section. No, people need to stop. Not everybody who fucking gets a doctorate in some bullshit degree is useful. Some people are fucking social parasites. And a lot of it has to do with the current fucking education system we have.
A lot of professors are parasites.
Order absolutely afraid of dealing with real life, so they spend most of their time in academia, and they spend all those times accumulating these degrees, going to getting their associates, getting their bachelors, getting their masters.
Career students.
Yes.
The idea is eventually you get enough degrees and enough tenure to sit there and gaze at your navel all day long and get paid for it. That's academia in a nutshell.
Seriously, what the fuck is the fun in doing that?
College is their safe space.
Money for nothing.
Yeah, money for nothing.
You can sit there, look at your navel, and write one paper a year and get get 6 digits.
That's crazy.
But it's still fucking boring.
There are politicians who go out there and make $100K a year on the lecture circuit just to go into graduations and saying, "Well,
I will give you the advice that I was given when I was in your shoes.
Just don't bend over too far.
Well, we only got 2 watching. This has been a pretty good conversation. We only got like 2 people watching this shit. Hey, Jay, I appreciate you being on, but why we only got 2 people watching? That's weird.
Because it's a 0.5 cast.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the now 3.
Yeah.
I had to dig around a little bit to find the link to the Hangout, so maybe it's a little lack of advertising.
Ooh.
I can add you to a chat later to make sure you get the links, but I'm going to present my window.
Because
I came in through Twitter, and I had to dig around to find this link because I haven't been on in a while.
Yeah, because we stream. Well, you probably know then we stream live through YouTube.
Yeah, Wednesday at 7 p.m. is the normal stream, but this is a random one for the hell of it.
Hey, Will, I want you to know Skip Tracer is awesome and fuck Hope's bullshit.
Yeah, Hope looks like a cop. But the meme.
Oh God, I got in the middle of that crap earlier today. That's insanity.
Sorry.
Hope.
Please tell me you know what happened with Will and Hope.
No, I've been kind of out of the loop today.
Hey, Will, if you want to do a full episode Wednesday, let me know and we can cover you point to point, whatever the hell you want to talk about it.
I was gonna
I've
say
heard little bits and pieces of it, but not the whole story.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Well, I think the best source is probably in the chat right now. He's just muted.
Okay.
This episode, we're going to talk about 8 values things mostly.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly willing to, go sideline. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. Here's the thing. When means of production belong to everybody, you have the tragedy of the common. So I will disagree with this. Anybody have other different opinions?
Seize the memes of production. The memes of production.
No. Hell no. Fuck no. I'm sorry. You're paid a wage. So guess what? In exchange for those wages, you produce. And if you don't produce, you get the fuck out.
Jack, I said memes, not means.
United Nations should be abolished. I think the United Nations say some crazy shit like women in the United States are oppressed. I've seen them say like you should pay reparations. Why don't African nations pay reparations to other African nations? I'm gonna say fuck the United Nations. I will strongly agree the United Nations should be abolished.
Well,
based on what?
To say
because I think about fucking hampering bullshit.
Wait, say it again?
I think because the United Nations is tempo-temperaturing bullshit. I've seen them talk about how women are supposedly oppressed in the West. I've seen them talk about the United States should pay reparations. I'm like, but you also have on your human, what is it? I'm a little drunk right now, but
have you ever seen the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
Hey, Adrian.
Rights committees having all sorts of nations that are pretty fucking bad at it.
Hey, Adrian.
Yes.
You mentioned Africa, right? Do you bless the rains down in Africa?
What?
I bless the rains down in Africa. Sorry. Anyway, have you
ever seen the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
I don't know where I have.
Okay, that came out of the United Nations. Now, the things you mentioned that the United Nations have done, they're a joke. Yes, I agree with you. Okay? I think that the United Nations should be putting blue helmets in Chicago right now. Okay?
Well, look, okay. Okay. You want the UN to go into Chicago, right?
Right.
I've always thought that was a fucking joke. With what army?
Their own army? Have you seen their army?
Yes, I have, and normally they raise white flags and hold their hands up, but we won't get into that. Or they just chill in their fucking fobs and they don't go out and do shit because they're a bunch of fucking pussies.
The UN internationally is out there with their armor plated this and that, running around with their guns, trying to clean up shit. And I'm like, that's okay. Why aren't they doing it here?
No.
Why is it okay to see the UN, dorking around in Afghanistan, Iraq, Fuckistan, whatever, and not in Chicago, not in LA? Why can we not go to the UN and say, hey, Flint, Michigan, UN, step the fuck in here. They'll step into any government or regime that's corrupt and fucked up and fucking with its people, except for the United States. They won't do shit here.
They won't because they'll get their shit pushed in.
Right.
It's a simple fact of life.
See, that's the thing. Some of the stuff the UN does is actually useful and is meaningful. A lot of it is crap. And if you clean that up, it's a great idea, just poorly executed.
When was the last time the UN intervened anywhere?
Currently, shit. They're all over the place right now.
Congo. That was the last place they intervened.
Hang on. I got the perfect picture for this. 1 second. I'm going to share my screen 1 second because this is the perfect picture.
Was that the toilet flushing? Was that your opinion?
Yeah.
No. Look at my screen. Look at my screen.
Oh, hang on. I got too many fucking windows open. Okay. Which screen is yours? Yeah. Hey,
So
you think that's bad? Look at my screen.
Nice.
If you want to join, I'll send you the link where you can buy the T-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you?
Here we go. UN has 110,000 peacekeepers in 14 operations globally. I see a lot of it's focused in and around Africa, but there's some out in Dagestan and Cuba. But the thing is that the United Nations, they need to quit. I mean, we wouldn't know. In the United States, we would be completely ignorant about a lot of the bad shit that's going on out there if it wasn't for the UN. And the UN has provided some good things. Like I said, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Yes, half the countries in the world wipe their ass with it, but it's out there and it's going to become something someday. And, also, do you know who the final arbitrator is in domain name disputes?
That's the UN?
The United Nations. They are the final arbitrator in domain name disputes.
Does anyone see what's on my screen right now?
I mean, some of the shit they do is a joke, but the thing is, it's an open platform, so it's going to be a joke one way or another.
What's on your screen right now, Ari? Describe it to us.
Anyone familiar with Metal Gear Solid? So somebody repurposed Metal Gear Solid pictures to be Kentucky Fried Chicken ads. With, like, for example, Naked Snake holding a piece of chicken like it's a gun. Look at my screen.
I'm putting that and want to continue the cast, so I'm going to go to the next question.
Okay, I'll stop.
I love you, Howie. I'm sneezing a lot. All right. Military action by our nation is necessary often to protect it. I'm not sure about often. I've become more of an isolationist as time has gone by.
I haven't seen a serious threat against this country in a long time. I mean, the kind that you'd send an army against. I think we're fighting an economic war right now. The last big thing we had was the 80s and the nuclear, the we're going to blow the fuck out of the world more times than you can. Nuclear race.
I'm sure on this because, dude, I love our military uniform. Hey, big boy. But we need to cut back budget, and one of the things we can cut back budget on is possibly military, because quite frankly, Canada and Mexico are not threats and we have nothing else, I don't know. I don't know if we need to be the peacekeepers for everybody else.
There isn't a military threat. The Russians are not coming through Alaska.
Well,
I'm sorry.
they're not gonna cross the-
Red
Well,
Dawn is not really a possibility at the moment.
Yeah, they're coming. It's just not that form of coming.
Jack, you had something to say. What's up, Jack?
If you want to really think about the last time that there was an existential threat to our sovereignty, it was World War II. And that's just keeping it real. But we are a global superpower. We have presence everywhere, and that presence
and it costs a lot.
And it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we have a strong presence in Europe. That's the reason why we have a strong presence in Korea. It's the reason why. It's the reason why there is so much stationed all over the globe.
Currently, I'm in favor of pulling back and saving money and reducing our military expenditures because I understand that a large portion of our national budget is military expenditures to protect other people. And
but then what happens if one zone becomes hot and we used to have a presence there, but now you gotta spin that presence back up in that region?
We send in the Navy. Seriously, we send in a carrier group.
No, he's talking about scaling it back. So I mean,
I know. What I'm saying is that there's a way. Well, first of all, I think I'm sort of on the same page as Adrian. I think the U.S. takes on too much. I would say takes on too much global responsibility. That our military footprint made sense after World War II when Germany and Japan were devastated, and we were one of the two remaining superpowers.
But I just don't think we should be everybody's military force now. And we spend so much money, and other people talk about, oh, this country has spent so much money on the economic, social welfare.
Yeah, like Germany with their medical system, with their Autobahn system.
Because we are the fucking military.
Yeah, and Germany doesn't even meet their obligations under the NATO treaty charter. They're supposed to spend about 2%. I think the charter currently says each member nation is supposed to spend at least 2% of its GDP towards the mutual defense of the NATO alliance.
I'm considered a right-leaning conservative type. I'm still in favor of reducing our military budget, just from a standpoint is it's the place where we can cut, and we don't need to be defending everybody else. And maybe I'm wrong in that, and I'm willing to hear objections. But
I don't have an objection. I have a caveat that I was trying to get to. We can't immediately go to pulling all our troops back. There's going to be probably, I would guess, a 20-year time span where, like if we said right now, hey Germany, hey Europe, hey Japan, Korea, we're not doing this anymore. Just letting you know, in 10 or 20 years' time, we're pulling our troops home. That gives them time to spin up their militaries. That basically we're saying, like, it's your sovereign duty to defend yourselves.
And it was done like that under 41 Bush. And you know what happened? They still sat on their fucking hands.
Well, then that's their call. Like, I don't think if we're not the world's policeman, we're certainly not the world's nanny either. Well, if Europe decides,
I'm just saying. I realize, and that's why there's a thing going on right now in the DoD that's been going on since Bush and since Clinton, called BRAC, which is base closure and realignment.
Yeah,
that's why the concern that I was at when I was in Germany, it's closed down. They've been slowly but surely pulling troops out of Germany.
Now, I heard something that I'm not disputing that we've been pulling troops out of Germany, and I heard that, like, under Obama, we pulled all the last of our armored tank divisions out of Europe, and now with Russia being more belligerent, Trump has sent like one armored tank division back into Europe.
Yeah.
But I also heard something that we wanted to close more bases in Germany, and Germany basically
pushed back.
They pushed back because their economy took a hit when we were pulling our soldiers home. Like basically, they spend so much money over there.
Fuck yeah! You know how many bars we kept afloat.
Oh, my father was in the service. My uncles were in the service. I fully believe that.
Well, I also think that there's a line in the sand between, defending and keeping up with our responsibilities and war for oil. There's a difference in the two, and I think that's maybe where we should look to pull back a little bit.
But I just know the DoD thinking, and I know the government thinking, regardless of who's in power, is that nobody wants to pull everything out of one area completely, because if it becomes hot,
absolutely.
It's hard as fuck to spin that shit back up.
Yeah, nature hates a vacuum. No, I'm totally on board with that. But I mean, if we're gonna say we're defending our interests globally, then let's be honest about it and not just say, "Oh, look, that country over there just discovered oil. They need some democracy."
Well, so
right now, yeah.
I mean, that's just, and I'm not the only. I mean, it's a common joke these days. But if they found oil on the moon, fuck, the moon needs democracy pretty damn badly, doesn't it?
No, I think Congress should hold a vote. We need to establish colonies on the moon.
With the Space Force, of course.
Hey, yes. look at my desktop, man. Come up anytime you want.
Question.
So,
how many of you have read The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert A. Heinlein?
Long time ago.
I love Robert A. Heinlein. I mean, I'm a little gay for Robert A. Heinlein, I gotta admit.
We knew you were, Adrian. We knew you were.
Even if he was alive, you'd still have some problems there. I think he was pretty straight.
Well, maybe.
Hey, have you seen these people going around singing that song "Fuck Me, Ray Bradbury"? I mean,
Well, that one, I don't know. That one, Ray might have gone for that. Who knows? But
no, that song exists. That's out there.
I believe the song exists. I'm just saying, Ray Bradbury might have been down for that.
Yeah.
From the stories I've heard in the sci-fi con circuit. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
Even sci-fi people got to have fun sometime.
Oh yeah, well, sometimes I think some of them have more fun than the rest of us. Just letting you know.
Well, that's because they've got more imagination.
They've
gotten past, me stick penis and things.
One of the things I like, the sci-fi cons I've been to, the hack cons don't have as much room parties. I like the room parties at the sci-fi cons I visited, where you could go like, oh, there's free booze, special types of booze, weird shit going on. All right, I wish more hacker cons had room parties.
We've tried to in the past.
They're too busy following the new COC.
Well, there's that, but I've seen a lot of HackerCon room parties done completely wrong. Like I think I'm trying to think of their name. They're the Orange County guys. I forget which DC they are, but the guys with they've got the black T-shirts and the orange camouflage pants and stuff like DC 949. Isn't that them?
That sounds right.
Like when DC 949 historically had its room party at ShmooCon, in my opinion, they did it right. First of all, they rented a suite for the party. So there was a party room that was explicitly for the party. And then they specifically asked the hotel that all of their rooms be around and adjacent to that room. So that way there's nobody who is with an adjoining wall to that room who's going to call a noise complaint.
Well, a couple of my Mead cons at WCon, I've had a few times where that's become a problem because of noise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that you need to literally insulate yourself for noise, and the way you do that is by buying out the rooms around it.
In the interest of full disclosure, I should let you folks know that I am on the planning committee for the DEF CON parties.
Okay.
So just so you know, I am hearing these things, and believe me, there are a lot of people who agree with you.
These are just anime convention rules, by the way.
Say again?
These are just anime convention rules for room.
Oh yeah. I've run DEF CON parties. I have helped plan DEF CON parties. I'm now in the committee that helps decide who gets the big party spaces at DEF CON. So yeah, I know what you're talking about when you say we need to do more of this stuff. Part of the problem with that is it's not the 90s anymore, and the hotels are really clamping down on the hacker parties, and they are sincerely profiteering off of it. Do you know how much it costs to run a smoke machine at a hacker conference now?
No, I do not.
Upwards of $2,000 per hour.
Wow. So when you say it's not the 90s anymore,
during the 90s, I helped run a party for the Cult of the Dead Cow, where Swamp Rat ran out on the stage and shot bottle rockets out of his crotch.
And the hotel was okay with this?
No, but you know what? They were okay with it in the end because it was the Alexis party. Nobody gave a shit. The thing is, we cut up raw meat from the grocery store and threw it into the audience. Okay? we threw hundreds of thousands of pounds of silly string out there. We brought in, the Rolling Stones farewell tour sized stereo equipment and did live shows and shit. And now you try to do that shit. First of all, you got to let them know that you're using glow sticks and not candles. You can't have a fog machine. You can't have a smoke machine. You can't bring in your own gear. You have to use the union gear. You can't bring in your own booze. You can't bring in your own food. We've had one party that had to be rejected. They wanted to have a stick up the ass, Downton Abbey style tea party, and they wouldn't let them bring the tea in.
This sounds like Amazon V.
And no, this is DEF CON. This is happening right now.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying
Amazon.
The having a tea party at DEF CON sounds like a total Amazon V move.
Yes, that does.
The thing is that people wonder why off-site parties are becoming so popular.
Because it's the only option.
I've been telling people that for years. No one's listened. They all want to stay in the land of $15 Corona Lights. But the thing is that the between the unions and the hotel, parties are stifled so hard now that you can't have those old school kind of parties anymore. You just can't.
Sure you can.
Not legitimately.
I think he's saying not in Vegas.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not in Vegas. Yeah, not at DEF CON, not in Vegas. Yes, that's true. Now, we used to have Quarks, and man, that was the shit back in the day. And there used to be a fight for space between the Star Trek people and the DEF CON people to go to that place, because that was just plain straight out fucking cool. You're sitting there eating your fucking food, and a Klingon comes over and kicks your plate over and starts swearing at you. That's just awesome. You don't get anymore.
And
dude, that would be awesome.
They did it to me a couple of times. It was a lot of fucking fun, and then they closed it down and turned it into some kind of bullshit slot machine attraction or whatever, and then the hotel went under. So,
which hotel was this at?
That was the old Hilton. It's now called LVH or something.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah, because I don't know what my current financial situation is with the company. I don't know. I may not be at DEF CON this year, but
parties used to be a lot more fun. I had a sweet party at the Luxor one year, and we had naked people eating whipped cream off of each other in the hallway.
Luxor was cool, and I miss eating whipped cream off of naked women. But anyway,
it wasn't just women. That's why I said people, because it literally wasn't just women.
Well,
oh God, and try and throw a party now and have any kind of interesting theme, and the SJWs will be all over you like stink on shit.
Did you just assume my whipped cream?
No, I think you mean the SJWs that weren't there.
That what?
the SJWs that weren't there, that all of a sudden it's a huge issue. I cannot believe it's clutch my pearls, I'm outraged.
Oh please. 2 years ago at DEF CON, one of them got so pissed off at me that they ran around telling everybody I was a pedophile. That was a boatload of fun.
Damn.
Having to explain to people that, no, in fact, I am not a pedophile. I didn't just get arrested and thrown out of the hotel. And the funny thing is, the person who did it was the person running the Women's Equality and Hacking Party.
Shit. All right, I gotta continue the cast because we gotta eventually finish this list. But damn.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's fucked up.
Oh, it was a war. Believe me, it was a war. But the war was won.
Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. I don't know about often. Occasionally. I'm gonna say agree, but this is a lot of these questions.
I'd say it's necessary, but often, I don't know about that.
Often,
the United World government would be beneficial to mankind. I disagree because I want there to be as many different governments out there as possible. Because if one government goes to shit, I want other people to be able to flee and go get asylum in some other government.
We're never going to get a united world government until we abolish religion.
I'm very against any united world government. I'll stay strongly disagree to this one.
But that's the number one thing, We're not gonna have a universal government until we get rid of religion.
That's why. Well, no. One government. This has got all unite under Platonism.
Absolutely, I'm on board with this one.
Platonism. Okay, cool. Everybody has to join the Platonist religion, and I'll leave everybody alone. I just want a nice little family with women, and then we'll be done. It's all good.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. It's more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't know how the hell to announce it. I'm going to say I'm neutral, but this question I don't have a strong opinion on. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. Well, how do I put this? Because we have a reason for a war, and another country doesn't like it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
Iraq.
We should not have got involved with that in hindsight.
But we didn't we tried justifying it, and then it was like, we'll kind of go along with it, sorta. But we have no opinion of it.
Justify it. But yeah, that particular one was wrong. But that's a hard one to answer. You answer it on your screen however you want to answer it. Wait, and I hear a lot of back talk in the background. Who's speaking?
It's not me. I'm in my mother's basement.
Dude, that's so bad.
And it's not me because I'm constantly muted. I'm not talking.
Wait. Comment Evie is muted, but it sounds like her.
I fixed it. It was Charles.
Charles, we love you, Charles.
Mom, get me another Hot Pocket.
All right. I'm gonna shit everyone. Military spending is a waste of money. I don't think it's a waste of money, but I think it is where we have to start cutting back budget expenses.
Oh yeah. Well, it's hard not to. It's the biggest item in the budget.
So I have to say agree to this, but
we spend more on military than the next 3 countries combined.
international aid is a waste of money.
No.
I'm sorry. Folks have to look out for themselves. I will say strongly agree.
But we.
I wouldn't say it's that would be saying it's a total waste of money. I think that if there's a natural disaster somewhere, we should chip in and give them a hand, just like we would expect someone to do for us. I mean, when the super volcano goes out when the super volcano goes and we're all 6 feet under in ash, I expect that there's going to be a few countries throwing us a bone.
My nation is great. I think the United States is generally pretty good. There's some problems, so I'll just say agree and not strongly agree. But
yeah, I just say agree. It's okay.
I think it's generally okay.
We got our problems. Who doesn't?
Research should be conducted on an international scale. Yes, but I'm not sure what they mean by this question.
Well, instead of keeping it within our borders, and U.S. research can't combine with Russian research, can't with Chinese research, because we're all in competition with each other. Versus everybody, let's pool all our shit together and build the LHC. You got 16 countries in the LHC. Look what they've done. It's pretty impressive.
Governments should be accountable to the international community. Some of the international community
Fuck no.
jackasses.
Fuck no. Fuck
so
no.
Fuck them. All right, Jack, I normally would just go over disagree, but Jack has convinced me to strongly disagree. Because
what about World War II then? Why did we have the Nuremberg trials if this is a strong disagree?
Because it was a very public punishment.
Well, the Nuremberg trials was a government being held accountable to the international community. That's what it was.
Yes, because
are we saying the Nuremberg trials were wrong?
There's a time and a place for that, but the basis of the Nuremberg trials was waging and progressing war against our neighbors. That was the basis of the Nuremberg trials. It really had nothing at all to do with the Holocaust. They just kind of sort of wrapped that in later on.
But it was the international community that brought that together, though. It was an international court.
Yes, only because.
So and who was on the defense? Germany. Well, okay, Germany and their allies. Granted, okay, but still, those are governments being held accountable by a international body.
Right, because there was no laws against genocide at the time, so that's why it was waging.
Right. So the thing is that we didn't get those laws without that happening. So I wouldn't say a strong disagree, but because I think there is a place for that. But at the same time, it shouldn't be for every single little nitpicky thing. I mean, right now with what the U.S. is doing to the refugees. Some people would say we need to take that to an international tribunal because blah, 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 blah. The sad thing is if they did that, they'd find out what's really happening. It's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. So there may be a place for it. There may not be. But I don't think it needs to be written off as no, this should never happen.
Oh, so in other words, so let's just say the Hague. It goes to the Hague. And the Hague rules that because the Netherlands also takes in refugees and the European Union takes in refugees, that the U.S. should as well. Who's going to enforce that?
Well, it's not that we're not taking them in. It's that we were not prepared for the aftermath of one of the new laws, and we got flooded out with having to deal with things and keeping up with our own laws, and it was just a half-ass effort. And it failed under the fact that there weren't enough resources. Too many people think that, we're just this big evil and God help me for good winning. But, oh, you're Nazis, you're Nazis, you're Nazis. I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen a single kid gassed yet. So you got to shut your face until you show me a picture of a kid getting gassed.
Have we held parades where people are goose stepping, down Main Street?
Yeah, but they're not ICE. They're just a bunch of jackoffs that lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. That the whole neo-Nazi thing is bullshit. We know it. A bunch of guys got together, marched down the street. They got doxxed. They lost their jobs. They got told to shut the fuck up, and they haven't done a single thing since. Now, taking some people, okay, the government stepped in and fucked up. Why? Because the government's good at fucking up. We passed a law. We said you can't put kids in the clink. Okay, so you got to separate the kids and the parents. What are you going to do? Oopsie, didn't think of that. Gee damn. Next thing you know, you're repurposing Walmarts. We got kids sitting on couches in front of 40-inch TVs playing ping pong, and people are running around saying, they're in cages. They're being molested. They're screaming, and they're agonized. And you're like, excuse me, the fuck? Don't confuse bad intent, malice for stupidity. They were stupid. They didn't think about what they did before they did it. So should we bring in some kind of, foreign coalition and all that? I don't know. But I think there's a line in the sand where we fuck up on purpose and we do something out of malice.
Yes, and I mean even now there's these quote unquote toddlers that are essentially having court hearings without legal representation.
That's stupid. But what are they going to do? What are they going to do? The people come in there with the kids. They get separated from the kids. The parents give a bad address, and they run away and they hide because they don't want to get deported. And the kids left there going, "What the fuck? What are you going to do?"
Yeah,
we're not prepared for it. We're not doing it out of malice. No one's putting a gun in the back of the kid's head and putting him in front of a judge. It's like, what are we going to do? We got this kid. Make a fucking decision. Do something. Give him the CPS. Do something. It's not malice. It's stupidity. It's like blaming Forrest Gump for not inventing atomic energy. You got a fundamentally stupid, broken system trying to handle a thing that's too big for it to handle, and everyone thinks that we're doing it out of malice.
It kind of fucked situation, and people are blaming Trump administration for everything, but shit existed before Trump, and
yeah. Oh, they've forgotten that. They forgot when the same shit happened under Obama. No one was blowing up shit.
Well, they were, but then it was fucking stupid because you had fuck, I forget what fucking country it was in Central America, but there was this fucking myth that if you send your kids, they'll get in automatically.
Oh yeah, exactly. Or anchor babies.
Yeah.
You cross the border, you squirt one out, you're set for life.
But the ultimate question is, how do we keep the Canadians out? Because fuck those rappy-headed.
We've already got a solution to that. I don't know if you've seen this. They're working on a law right now where if you're Canadian and you smoke weed, you're banned from the U.S. forever.
Yeah.
That was in the news earlier this morning.
All right, next question, because this is going to go on forever if we don't keep continuing this.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada. All right. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable.
Nah.
See, violence is sometimes acceptable, but God, there's some crazy motherfuckers out there right now who will call everybody who disagrees with them a fascist and want to hit everybody. Like these crazy motherfuckers who saw punch a Nazi. Dude, you're talking about punching a Jewish dude who disagrees with you.
You have to look at this question from a non-U.S. perspective.
So I gotta disagree.
In the U.S., if you take away somebody's cell phone, they'll burn down the Starbucks and paint swastikas on things. But in another country, when they line up 150 people because they're the wrong skin color and pump them full of bullets, and they have a violent protest, well, it's understandable. That makes good sense. If you've got a regime coming through there and saying everybody with the name Bill up against the wall, of course there's going to be some kind of, but here in the U.S., we go ape shit. We burn down the city when our sports teams win, for fuck's sake.
Or burn couches.
I mean, we've got these so-called anarchists that are just sitting there in their mom's basement waiting for something fun to happen so they can go fuck shit up. So, I think there's a place for violence when you're fighting an authoritarian regime, but it's got to be more authoritarian than go to bed at 9 o'clock and say your prayers and eat your vegetables. It's got to be,
Yeah,
we are now practicing genocide. You know?
Yeah, but people, I remember this, and it's a Sundog. I don't know what his fucking handle is. I blocked him eventually on Twitter. He said something about I was apparently incorrect to call some guy an extremist. He said because this motherfucker, crap. I don't remember the exact terminology the guy used, but people get insane on fucking Twitter.
Oh, of course. That's because they can get away with it. You can go ape shit on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr all day long. People expect it. They don't pay attention to you if you're not calling somebody something.
Yeah, I said somebody was essentially calling everybody to the right of Lenin a fascist. And he said, well, that's apparently incorrect. Very few people are to the right of Lenin, and very few people raise Panther Modern's ire. Panther Modern's a nut job. Right? Panther Modern is a mentally ill fucktard. So I blocked the motherfucker, and I'm sure he's...
We just... It's so sad how many people that fit that description, you know, are out there right now yelling about shit. It's sad.
Our nation's values should be spread as much as possible. I will say agree, but then again, we all disagree on what exactly our nation's values are.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's called freedom.
It's very important to maintain law and order. In general, I'll agree, but then again, it comes to what you consider law and order and what laws you want to follow.
And how you maintain it.
The general populace makes poor decisions.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to strongly agree with this one because I see people make incredibly bad decisions.
There's a reason for that, but yeah, they do. People make stupid decisions because they're made to make stupid decisions. They're fed disinformation, and they are used as a tool for profit. And so they're going to keep doing stupid things. They're going to be buying $500 sneakers and not having rent money. They're going to be beating the shit out of each other for a $70 TV at Walmart because they've been told that they got to have these things, otherwise they're useless people. And surprise, they're usually useless people in the first place. So it's like there's not enough independent thought, there's not enough self-respect, and there's not enough self-worth in these people because they've had it all drained out of them by the dominant culture. And they've been made into these zombified idiots with credit cards.
I'm over here silent. Someone else start speaking.
I mean, I agree that the general populace makes bad decisions.
Yeah, they do.
But you know what? It's their right to be stupid.
Well, it's not a matter. Did you hear what I was saying before?
Yeah.
About how they're made to be stupid? Stupid people are profitable and easy to keep in control. Do you remember many, many, many moons ago, the Dead Kennedys put out a song called Kinky Sex Makes the World Go Round? Anybody remember that song?
I can't say that I do, but...
It was a fictional phone call between the U.S. Department of War and Margaret Thatcher. And they were talking about how it was time to have another big war to cut down on the excess population. And they said, if anyone protests too much, pump up your drug supply. We had kids so interested in beer that they didn't care if we put a nuclear stockpile in their backyard. It's an interesting piece of historical, political, a political statement. It's a good listen. People don't really pay attention to it because of the name of it. It's called Kinky Sex Makes the World Go Round. But it makes a lot of really prominent points about our government systems and international governing.
Okay, next question on the list. Just to get us all through this thing eventually. victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all. And I'm generally, if it's not hurting someone else, it's not. It shouldn't be a crime. So I pretty much strongly agree. I'm pretty much legalized everything.
But the thing is, they're not always victimless crimes.
Okay, I hit strongly agree, but now let's discuss this.
Okay, well, I mean, drug use may be a victimless crime to a certain point. Okay, a guy smoking a joint and watching Gilligan's Island isn't victimizing anybody. A parent who has to get a bag of weed and a roll of heroin and doesn't get food for the kids and doesn't pay the rent is no longer a victimless crime.
I can agree with that, and also some of the pot dealers I have known. Not that I ever smoked pot in my life ever. I have just merely as an observer have noticed that most pot dealers are fucktards. They are not necessarily very.
You do not need to be a Rhodes Scholar to sell pot. It's really not that hard. Jay and Silent Bob can show you that story.
Well, yeah. I mean, no one sells drugs. They sell themselves. That was the first lesson. Oh, well, that was the first.
Well, that's the first lesson in any kind of sales job. That applies to selling cars and washing machines and VCRs. You sell yourself.
No, the product sells itself. You don't. It's either the person gives you the money and you give them the goods, and it takes care of itself.
What about Steppenwolf? Goddamn the Pusher Man. Hey, little kid, come on, just take a puff. It won't hurt.
I have my fault. Correction. In a former life, I have never done that. I have never had to do that to anything that I've.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
I've just never done it, and the people who I've been around have never forced something onto.
Doesn't mean it doesn't. I lived in New York City for 10 years, and there are people that go down to the bus station and they pick up the kids that are runaways that just got on the bus from Oklahoma because they didn't like the fact that mom and dad made them go to bed early, and
but then those people are scumbags.
Yeah, they give. Yeah, but I'm saying, well, I mean, that's another example of drugs having a crime, creating a crime that has a victim. There's a line in the sand where drug use goes from being victimless to having a victim. So you cannot universally say all drug use is a victimless crime. If all you've ever seen is your uncle sit there smoking a joint, eating Fruit Loops, and watching Gilligan's Island, you say to yourself, there's no crime going on here. You're absolutely correct. Now, you pick up some little girl off the bus from Oklahoma who's 16 years old, just ran away from her parents, get her stoned and put her on the street, taking her up the ass for $50 a throw. There's a crime there, and there's a victim there. You can't just universally say all drugs are victimless crimes, because they're not. I can see and agree with that, but not a strong agree.
Yeah, Faith got dark there.
I mean, hell, I was for, I don't smoke weed, and I was all for legalizing it. I didn't see a problem with it.
All right.
I feel the same way about prostitution.
The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism.
N-O.
No, disagree.
Nope.
No.
Okay, I go disagree also.
That's how we ended up with the freedom fondle.
Hey, damn it. Even though shit. Depends on what things they fucking impose as. I'll just go disagree.
Come on, the freedom fondle? You think the freedom fondle actually does anything?
Here's the problem I have with the freedom fondle. I should be able to identify who I want to freedom fondle me, because I've seen some cute TSA agents, and she could freedom fondle me for a little bit, but it never worked out that way.
Yeah. I thought about
TSA has failed almost every evaluation they've ever had.
Of course.
Every time they test them, you won't get a shampoo bottle or a pair of nail clippers past them. But goddamn, every time they evaluate them with a fake bomb, they lose. Oh, whoa, what's this?
or they throw drugs in someone's baggage because it was unsecured.
Fuck.
And it got all the way to someone's house. And so then they had to send the police to
and how much shit have they stolen? Oh my God, how much shit have they stolen? They break open your bag, take your laptop, slap a sticker on it saying this was inspected, and away you go.
Yeah. All right, we gotta get through all these fucking questions. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Yes, that's the very nature of fucking being a state.
The state is what established our liberty.
Well, it's also what infringes on it, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you take away the state, then what have you got?
Anarchy.
You got no recourse when someone takes away your liberty, unless you want the Wild West again.
We have.
But you took away my liberty. You took away my liberty. Draw. Boom. I mean, if that's what you're down for, then by all means. But you're going to get dominated by people who are the fastest gun. But without the state to define what liberty is and to give recourse when liberty is taken away, what have you got? You got pure anarchy. And some people are okay with that.
And that's what gets me when I had this anarcho-communist getting my Twitter feed and talking about I'd be okay with a state for like half a week, but then it has to go away. I'm like, how do you think that's going to fucking?
Yeah, no, most of those people are the only letter in the alphabet they know is A, and that's why they can spray paint the logo.
Ooh, shots fired.
Okay. I mean, most people who promote anarchy wouldn't survive 10 minutes in a pure anarchy environment.
I have anarcho-communists start talking to me. I'm like, wait.
There's your first problem right there, is listening to them. If someone says, I'm an anarcho-communist, you know what you say? Goodbye. Have a nice day.
I humored this one, and they were like, well, I'd be okay with a state for a short term for redistributing the wealth, and then it'd be gone. I'm like, what
okay, well, how will you make sure it stays gone? Because as soon as the wealth's redistributed, that's when you get groups of people gathering together to make sure they take it all for themselves.
Helicopters. It's all about the helicopters. Anyway.
Emma Goldman is where you should be going.
Oh, shit. Some male feminists pointed me towards Emma Goldman a while back, and then they got shot at a Milo protest, and I'm like, they probably should have got shot.
Anarchism stands for the liberation of the human mind from the dominion of religion, the liberation of the human body from the creation of poverty, or of property, liberation from the shackles and restraint of government. It stands for a social order based on the free grouping of individuals. If you're not on board with that, then you're not an anarchist. You're just an asshole.
I'm pretty far from an anarchist. I'm pretty sure. I'm a militant.
That is the basis of anarchism, and that's straight up Emma Goldman right there.
I'm pretty sure I might fall into the category of minarchist, but I'm pretty sure I'm not an anarchist.
But these are the things, these anarchy now people, the guys running around spray painting the letter A, I mean, they might as well be reading Nathaniel Hawthorne, okay? Because it's just.
Can we agree that
they've lost the theme?
Can we all agree that male feminists should be killed on sight?
Male feminists? No.
No, like coyotes in northern Indiana. Like, they're predatory species. They should just be shot. Like, coyotes in northern Indiana.
Wait, say that again?
Should male feminists be considered like coyotes in northern Indiana?
Like the breeze.
You mean like, I understand your struggle as a woman here. Why don't you drink this? I made it myself.
Jim Jones.
Oh, man.
What gets me is, have you heard about Agi? There's a particular supplement that was meant for, it was meant to be the female Viagra.
Mm.
And,
oh, you mean money?
It didn't work well. But the pharmaceutical company that owned the copyrights to this particular chemical protested and gave money to the National Organization for Women, and the National Organization for Women started campaigning for their benefit. And essentially, this drug called, I think it was Agi, it increased women's positive sexual experiences like 0.5 or something. But
I like that.
anyway, you look up Agi at some point in time. Essentially, because of pharmaceutical companies and large-scale feminist organizations, they legalized a fucking date rape drug.
Well, I mean, depends on how you I mean, any drug can be a date rape drug. Xanax can be a date rape drug. Phenobarbital can be a date rape drug. There's no such thing as a date rape drug. There are drugs that are used for date rape.
But at the point where it only increases the sexual satisfaction of the woman.
Oh, the mythological Spanish fly kind of thing?
Yeah, this thing was like very
So is Viagra a date rape
it
drug?
had very little positive effect. But if a woman took this drug and drank at the same time, there was a high likelihood of her passing out. But because the feminists were like freaking out because, wow, there is no drug like Viagra for us women. We must pass this. They tried to get the FDA to pass it. And this particular drug, essentially, when women drank and took this drug, made them incognizant. And because, well, we must have equality.
It's not even a matter of equality. What if you're a woman who wants it? What if a woman wants to up her libido?
Well, the thing is, it ups the libido very little, but it
doesn't matter if it does it a little or a lot. And what if a woman wants it? What if a woman says, "I'm not into sex anymore. Give me a drug to help me with this"?
It greatly increased the chances of a woman blacking out.
Hi, can we please move past this?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just putting out there that between pharmaceutical companies and now, there was a drug that got seriously pushed.
Oh yeah. You understand pharmaceutical companies live for profit. They'll push anything that makes money.
Well, I mean, Viagra was originally supposed to have been a blood pressure medication.
It's actually not that good for it's not that great for blood pressure.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what the trials were for. But then people were talking about the other added benefits, and so then it was like, oh well, if it's good for that, then guess what? That's what we'll market it as.
And now you can buy it for 48 cents a tablet on the net.
This Agi stuff I'm talking about is if taking off a little bit of alcohol, the women had a tendency to pass out, and it was basically a better date rape drug than it was a drug for women who.
You mix alcohol with half the drugs out there and you'll pass out. It doesn't matter if you're man, woman, or in between. I'm on vasodilators. You mix that with alcohol and you're going to be down for the count faster than Tyson.
This sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, there's 100 million different drugs out there you mix with alcohol. And you'll be on the canvas within a few minutes.
Okay, let's continue with the questions.
Hoop.
Regardless of political opinion, is it important to side with your country?
No.
I
Strongly
would
disagree.
Also, because as long as the country doesn't disagree with me, that's a problem. But agree with me, that's all good. Shit. No authority should be left unquestioned.
Absolutely.
No, every authority should be questioned.
Should be questioned, always.
But no one questions the Spanish Inquisition.
Well, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I guess that's lost on them, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
A hierarchical state is best.
I was neutral on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what to mean by this, so let's go neutral. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong.
Ooh, I don't like that one at all.
That one I disagree with because once every 2 years and once every 4 years there's a election.
Yeah. The Electoral College.
I wouldn't disagree, but the stronger the leadership, the better. I like having a good, strong leadership if it agrees with my viewpoint, but I don't know if this is always the case.
Yeah, a stronger leadership that's fair. Yes. If the leadership is righteous in how it's doing its leadership, then yeah, okay. But once it gets out of control,
I would go neutral on this one because it depends on who the leadership is.
I'm down with that.
Because I want people who support my right to throw EV from helicopters. But I don't want anybody else. I love you, Evie. Hi, Evie. You still there? Anyway. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. But isn't the whole core of democracy is the decision-making process. So I'm a little confused. What does this mean? What does this mean?
I can't see it.
Question on the screen? You can't see it?
I see your icon, but I don't see the question.
Democracy is more than a decision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Share your screen.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that. That's mine. Hey.
How do you want to define this? I personally think democracy is a decision-making process. So
that's definitely part of it. Is that all it is? I might have to go unsure on this one.
All right.
I would say no, but I mean, if it is more than a decision-making process, it becomes like tyranny of the mob. But
yeah,
environmental regulations are essential.
Yes.
Isn't it Adrian supposed to be taking these?
I would disagree because fuck the environment. I'm sure something else way before that.
We'll move. You can move to Flint, and we'll see how that goes.
I think Flint top water is still alive.
Come from automation, science, and technology. Generally, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Children should be educated in the religious and traditional values.
Ooh.
No.
That's a hard one because it doesn't answer who does the teaching. It doesn't address who does the teaching. If the teaching is done by the family, then I can be on board with that. If it's done by the state, no way in hell.
I mean, I took the word "should" like all children.
I will say yes, just because in general, I think most Western European values are good, but
don't get thrown by the religious, because religious or traditional, means there's room there for non-religious teaching.
And I'm agnostic, but dude, even though I'm agnostic,
you have values.
Western European values seem pretty good to me. All right, listening for a counter to that, but I will agree. Traditions are of no value on their own. Well,
no, I don't know that. No, that's
I
crazy.
will disagree because I have to know what values you're talking about.
Exactly.
Religion should play a role in government.
Hell no. No, and fuck no.
Traditions should be taxed the same as the way we tax interest.
Yes.
Of tax.
Yes.
I don't honestly know.
Religion and churches have a high influence in politics. If you're going to be part of the game, pay the admission price like everybody else.
And I agree to that.
But does everybody pay that price? And I don't know. It's the far leftist groups that aren't essentially religious that don't pay the price.
Doesn't matter. They should all be taxed.
You want to put your thumb on the scale?
Exemption for religion.
You want to put your thumb on the scale? Guess what? Like you said, you gotta pay the toll.
Yeah. Especially when you have religions where the guy says Jesus wants me to have a $30 million jet.
But feminism is essentially religion. But the feminist groups have to pay any kind of tax.
Say it again.
Feminism is essentially a religion.
No, that's a social order, not a religion.
I don't know. Some shit I see from feminism is a religion.
Some of those, there are religions that are based around feminism, yes. Like Kali worshippers, yes. Okay, but that's still a religion. That's not feminism. People can confuse that really easily. But the thing is that you can use religion as an excuse for feminism or as a component of it. You know, we feel that Freya is the end-all be-all goddess, yaka yaka yaka, therefore this is what our rules are based on.
It's confusing enough that I will at this point disagree. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. I strongly disagree. Somebody else will kill me way before climate change.
The people that are fighting against the knowledge and reaction to climate change are more of a threat than climate change itself because they're accelerating it.
It's important to work as a united world to combat it.
Yes.
Well,
how's it going? You guys are taking this test?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
If it's not a group effort, it is lost, but fuck it, I don't care. Let the world die.
Yeah.
It'll replace us with something better.
That was better many years ago than it is now.
Yeah,
I think we put it better off now than we were before, but people just aren't singing it. It's important that we maintain the traditions of our past.
That's not important, no. It's important to learn from them,
not
to maintain them.
Agree with that.
Yes, because some traditions must die.
Yeah.
It's more that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
The reason is more important than maintaining our culture.
Yeah. Culture has to change.
In general, I agree, but I don't think culture is necessarily a bad thing.
You don't think what's not a bad thing?
Culture.
No, I'm not saying it's bad, but it needs to be able to change and mature.
Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. Generally, I strongly agree.
I agree with that.
Same-sex marriage should be legal? Sure.
Yeah,
I don't care.
absolutely.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. No culture superiority others. Bullshit. Some cultures, if you like throwing gay people off of rooftops, fuck your culture. Some cultures are better than others. Strongly disagree. Fuck off with this fucking bullshit. If we accept migrant L, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Yes, I think yes.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I noticed we went past that sex one real fast. Sex, yes. Next question.
Abortion should be prohibited in most cases.
No, I think that's an individual choice.
I got weird views on this. How to put it this way? I am by sentiment pro-life, but by practicality pro-choice. And here's the thing.
Yeah, pro-choice. Pro-choice is
for progressive women. I don't want to have kids. So
well, the thing is, it's still, no matter how you slice it, it's pro-choice is really the only answer. It's her choice. You don't want somebody coming to you and telling you what to do with your body or taking away. You don't want that, so you shouldn't do it to somebody else.
Yeah, I have this way. I want Lena Dunham, if she wants to have a kid but doesn't want to have a kid, she can kill it. Yes. I don't want Lena Dunham to reproduce ever.
Have you guys ever seen, I think it's like Lena Dunham fake tweets or something like that? I think it's a Twitter channel. It's really stupid. Try to find it and then put it in the chat.
The gun ownership thing, I love guns. Fuck
yeah, me too.
I keep my guns. The healthcare.
Yeah, we hit this one already. I think we all agreed.
The U.S. system is fucked up. I don't know what to do with it, and I'll say I agree, but I don't know what to do with the U.S. healthcare system because we are a weird hodgepodge between socialism and free market, and our hodgepodge is not working. So I would say agree. Fascism, is it legal?
No. I'm going to disagree on that. It says it should be illegal.
Yeah, illegal. It should not be illegal.
It should not be illegal.
If you want to throw it out there, let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
Entrepreneurship. If we legalize prostitution, we get rid of most of the stigma and crime surrounding it.
Maintaining family values is essential. I'm going to say agree, but I don't know what they mean by family values.
That's the thing. That differs from family to family. Like you were saying before, if your culture says throw people off a roof because they're gay, well, that's not a value.
Agreed.
That's not a value I want to see supported or generated.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they mean.
Yes.
You chase progress at all costs is dangerous.
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum learned that the hard way.
I would agree, but I don't know what they mean by that.
Well, progress for the sake of progress. You ever see that movie, The Fly?
Yeah, I don't remember that being.
You basically say, "Oh, who cares?" The thing, I'll tell you what. We got the LHC. We're either going to see a hidden particle or blow up the planet. Fuck it, hit the switch.
Modification is a force for good, even on humans. Yeah. You can make me Superman. That's cool. We should open up all borders to immigration.
They're already open.
I
They're
just-
open to immigration. You know, that doesn't mean you just walk in and get through.
I disagree with that. And
yeah.
all people, regardless of factors like culture and sexuality, should be treated equally.
Yes. Fuck yes. Hell
That's
yes.
why we agree with that one. It's important that we further my goals, group's goals, but see, I don't have a group. That's the thing.
You may have, you just don't know it.
What
Remember how you said that you were fundamentally pro-choice? Well, that's a group.
I would say I'll go neutral on this. Let's see what it comes out with on me. So I am still a neoliberal. Fuck this result. But that's the result I've got. This is like the third time I've taken this test. It gives me neoliberal every single time. So y'all figure that shit out.
Yeah, some of the questions weren't really good though. Like you had to.
Yeah, there were some questions that definitely could use some refining.
Yeah.
Yeah, like progress versus traditionalism. I don't think they're always necessarily opposite poles.
Well, I mean, it depends on what traditions you're talking about. I mean, it's just vague as fuck. If you believe that your family members should not date outside of the family per se, which you know what, hey, that's your business. Have the fuck at it, even though you're fucking up your gene pool. Fuck up your gene pool.
Son of God or son of man, you can't fuck your sister and expect much good to come of it. That was Garth Allen. That was in Preacher, the comic book.
I think there was another test or something like that Caprico posted on the or he like took or something like that during the Irongeek Cast of this past week. I don't know. I could try to find it. Probably don't want to do another long one though. I don't know.
Just to balance this out, we should do a test that is a little more rational. Like, which Star Trek character are you?
I want to be Benjamin Sisko.
It's one of the strongest characters in the whole thing.
Yeah, Ben kicks ass.
Literally. And the first time I saw that episode where he shit kicks Q, I was on my feet laughing and cheering my ass off.
But Picard never punched me. I'm
not Picard. Fuck you.
Yeah. Avery Brooks is pretty cool. I politically, I'm sure there's some things we have disagreements on, but as the character Sisko, yeah, he's pretty fucking cool. Okay. I think I've ran everything to say, and I feel like dying. So,
yeah, a lot of shit's happened in the InfoSec community this week. That was really crazy. I won't talk about it, but
the craziest shit I saw was people coming after Ill Will over some like really weird. He just said, "I have your nudes," and people got all pissy about it. I'm like, "Oh, fuck off!"
Insane. And the talk, like the main thing about the talk is supposed to be like free speech and like freedom of expression, and like you can't make a joke.
Shut up, Wesley.
Westman Group. I like to grab his neck and break it, but that's me.
Well, that was a character, though. The character was designed that way. He was meant to be the annoying little fuck that was always right. At the same time, he also showed that a lot of people couldn't live up to their own values. People tend to hate people like that.
All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast and we could talk for a little bit without anything being recorded. I'll catch you guys later.